Brothers, I raise your hands on y'all back for me. Thank you.
All right, deputies, you all can hear me. I'm ready to start if you are.
Yes, sir.
Are we doing it down?
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are now streaming live on YouTube. Today is August 11th of 2024. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe. I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here in Clayton County, and I'll be presiding over your calendar. If you're having trouble hearing me this morning as we go through these procedures, ladies and gentlemen, please do let me know. There are a few things that I'm going to go over with you prior to starting the calendar. Please listen carefully as it will help you better understand the nature and purpose of today's proceeding. First, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to try your case, to take a plea, or to have any legal discussion with you about the specific facts of your case. Today is your first appearance. That means I'm here to tell you what you're charged with, advise you of your rights, to set bond on those offenses for which the court is authorized to set bond. I'm here to schedule a preliminary hearing and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. Now, ladies and gentlemen, each of you all has the right to remain silent. So please, do not attempt to tell me any specifics about your case or any legal defense that you believe you have. As I said earlier, we are streaming live this morning, and if you do say something, you run the risk of it being used against you in a court of law or making us all, including the people around you and the deputies, witnesses to your case. Now, I said you all do have several rights this morning. In addition to the right to remain silent, each of you has the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to an indictment by grand jury for felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf or to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Also, if you are not a citizen, some charges may adversely affect you in your immigration status. Therefore, if this does pertain to you, you will need to consult with an immigration attorney. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in addition, as I said, to the charges, we are going to go over your bond, meaning that which will allow you to be out of custody until your case is closed. Now, some of you will allow to be able to post what are called unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending your prosecution of your case. Now, there will be others of you who I will add special conditions to your bond. There are three ways that you can make bond. You can make it through cash, commercial, or property. If you do it through cash, that means you would pay the total amount of the bond plus any additional fees. As an example, if I tell you that you're charged with aggravated battery and I tell you your bond is $10,000, that means you would pay $10,000 plus any fees to the sheriff, who would then hold that amount and return it to you once your case is closed. The second way that you can make bond is a commercial bond. Now, that's when you use a bonding company. And so if I told you your bond was $10,000 and you didn't have that full amount, a bonding company would make you pay 15% of that $10,000, which would roughly be about about $2,500 or so, plus any fees. Now, the difference between a cash bond and a bonding company is a bonding company, once you pay that amount to them, you don't get it back. So whereas a cash bond, you do get it back from the sheriff's office, any amount that you pay to a bonding company is theirs to keep, and then they put up the rest of it. The third way to make bond is with a property bond. That would be where either you or someone you know has a piece of property and they have the deed to that property. They will be able to bring that piece of paper up to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff would hold it until such time as their case is closed. Now, as I mentioned, some of you will have conditions on your bond. Based on the allegations against some of you, if you are alleged to have had physical contact with someone, I may advise you that you are to have no contact with that person moving forward until your case is closed or that bond is modified. That means you have to stay away from them altogether. You can't call them, you can't text them, you can't email, write a letter to, contact them through social media. You can't even do something as nice as write them a song. Now, if I tell you you're not to return to a certain place, that means you can't go back to that location until your case is closed for any reason. If the place I tell you not to go back to is a place that you were living at, ladies and gentlemen, please understand you can go back, but only with the sheriff's office and only within 10 days of your release. So you need to schedule with them, if you know you're going to bond out, a time to go over there with you to get any items that are not in dispute and belong to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that if I tell you that you're not to have any contact with a person or not to go there, to please do so, because your failure to do so can subject you to additional felony charges that include felony aggravated stalking, influencing a witness, and up to 20 years in prison and $20,000 fines. Now, if the person that you are alleged to have been involved in an incident with is a spouse, family member, or friend, and they are the person that wants to come bond you out, please understand that they cannot. And so, of course, then in that sort of a situation, you would need to locate someone else that will be able to do that for you. Now, before we begin, lastly, I want to talk to you all briefly about a preliminary hearing. For those of you all charged with a felony, you will get a preliminary hearing date today. For those of you all charged with a misdemeanor, I will advise you whether or not and ask you if you would like to have one. Your preliminary hearing is not your trial. That's where you're there, your attorney is there, the judge, and the officer who arrested you. The officer must present enough evidence to show that there is enough evidence to move your case forward to the next stage, to the prosecutor. If he can't, your case can be dismissed. Now, you can choose to have that hearing date if you're not going to bond out, and I'll give you that date today if you're charged with a misdemeanor. Or you can say, Judge, I don't want that hearing, because what it will do is it'll make the case move a little faster to the prosecutor. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're charged with misdemeanors, as you come up, among the things I will ask you is if you would like to have that preliminary hearing or if you would like to waive it. Now, with that, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have everyone please raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're about to give and that you gave on your documents that were provided to me for court-appointed counsel will be the truth and nothing but the truth? And if so, I need each of you to say, I do.
I do.
All right, deputies, if I could have the Spanish-speaking individuals. I see two of them. Was it Ms. Consuela Chavez and I have Jose Espinoza? Are there any more?
Ladies, it's only female, at least 4. Y'all going 6 for me, ladies, please? And that female. Yes, we have Ms. Chavez. Yeah. Oliver. Yeah, but they bring them. You want them all the same?
If I could have everybody up so I could just speak to them as a group first. All right, Ms. Day, if you will please raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you swear or affirm that the information that you are about to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English will be the truth and so help you God?
I do.
All right, Ms. Day, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the individuals on screen, please.
Muy buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Deyanira Bermúdez y yo voy a ser su intérprete en la mañana de hoy.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe.
Buenos días, damas y caballeros. Yo soy el juez Marcus Thorpe.
And I am here to speak with you all about what you've been charged with and discuss with you your bond, if applicable.
Y yo estoy acá para hablar con ustedes con respecto a lo que se le acusa y hablar con ustedes con respecto a fianza, si es aplicable.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin, please remember this is not your trial, and so do not discuss with me the specific facts of your case, and I am also not here to take a plea this morning.
Y según comenzamos, recuerde que esto no es su juicio y que no estamos acá para tener un juicio en su caso, o sea que no hable de los detalles específicos y yo tampoco estoy acá para aceptar una declaración a cargos.
I am here to inform you of the charges against you.
Yo estoy acá para informarle cuáles son los cargos que se le imputa.
I am here to advise you of certain rights that you have throughout this process.
Para informarle los derechos que usted tiene durante todo este proceso.
I am here to set bond where I am legally permitted to do so.
Estoy acá para asignarle una fianza donde se me permite legalmente hacerlo.
I am here to schedule a preliminary hearing and then to
Estoy acá,
also, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
estoy acá para asignarle una audiencia preliminar
And then to also determine if we can appoint you a lawyer free of charge.
y también para determinar si le podemos asignar un abogado libres de cargo o sin costo.
In addition to the right to remain silent, each of you has a right to a presumption of innocence.
De manera adicional al derecho de permanecer en silencio, cada uno de ustedes tiene el derecho a la presunción de inocencia.
You have a right to a grand jury for felonies and an accusation for misdemeanor.
Usted tiene el derecho a la presentación de cargos por parte de un gran jurado, de una acusación para los delitos menores.
You have a right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Tiene el derecho de tener un juicio sin demora, público y ante un jurado.
You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your own behalf.
Tiene el derecho de exigir la presencia de testigos para que testifiquen a su favor.
You have a right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Tiene el derecho de ver, escuchar y contrainterrogar a los testigos que sean citados a testificar en su contra.
You have a right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
Tiene el derecho de testificar a su favor y de presentar pruebas para ser usadas en su defensa.
You have a right to have an attorney represent you. So if you cannot afford one, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Usted tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado y si usted no tuviera los medios para contratar un abogado, uno le sería asignado si usted califica.
Also, if you are not a citizen, some charges may adversely affect your immigration status. And if that is the case, you will need to consult with an attorney.
Además, si usted no es ciudadano estadounidense, algunos cargos podrían afectar de forma negativa su estatus emigratorio. Y si ese es el caso, usted necesitaría consultar con un abogado.
Now, in addition to speaking with each of you about your charge with, we're going to talk about your bond amount.
De manera adicional, después de hablar con ustedes, con cada uno de ustedes con respecto a los cargos, vamos a hablar con respecto a la cantidad de fianza.
There are 3 ways to make bond.
Hay 3 formas en las que podría pagar la fianza.
You can pay the entire amount that I will give you, plus any fees to the sheriff, who will hold it and then return it once your case is closed.
Usted podría pagar la cantidad total de fianza que yo le asigne, a las tarifas adicionales a la comisaría, y luego este dinero le sería reembolsado cuando su caso termine.
Or if you do not have the full amount, you can use a bonding company, which only charges 15%, but you will not get that money back.
O si usted no tiene la cantidad completa, usted podría utilizar los servicios de una compañía de fianza, la cual le cobraría hasta un 15%, pero esa cantidad que usted paga no le sería reembolsada.
Lastly, you can use a bonding company, which means you or someone you know would have to bring the deed to their property to the sheriff to hold until your case is closed.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can you repeat that for the interpreter?
The final way would be for you or someone you know to bring the deed to a piece of property that they have to the sheriff's office for them to hold until your case is closed.
Y la forma final sería que usted o alguien traiga el título de una propiedad que ustedes tengan y la comisaría se quedaría con en el título hasta que el caso concluya.
Now, in addition to your bond amount, some of you will have special restrictions on your bond.
De manera adicional a la cantidad de fianza, algunos de ustedes van a tener restricciones especiales adicionales.
I may advise you that you are to have no contact with people that you are alleged to have assaulted.
Puede ser que yo le informe que usted no puede tener contacto con algunas personas.
If I tell you to have no contact with that person, please do so because it could result in additional felony charges.
Y si yo le ordeno que no tenga contacto con esa persona, por favor, no lo haga porque esto pueda resultar o podría resultar en que se le impute cargos adicionales por delitos graves.
Some of you all, I will tell you that you are not to return to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes yo le voy a ordenar no regresar a un lugar en particular.
If I tell you not to return there, please do not. Because again, it could result in additional felony charges and fines and fees against you.
Y si yo le ordeno no regresar a ese lugar, una vez no lo haga, porque esto podría resultar en que le imputen cargos adicionales por delitos graves y que tenga que pagar multas.
The place I tell you not to return to was a place that you were once living. Please understand that if you bond out, you can contact the sheriff's office within 10 days of your release to escort you to that place to get your things.
Si el lugar donde yo le ordene no regresar es un lugar donde usted vivía, por favor sepa que usted puede hacer una cita con la comisaría durante los primeros 10 días después de haber salido de la cárcel para que yo le escorte.
Lastly, if each of you is charged with a misdemeanor, I will need to discuss with you what is called a preliminary hearing.
Y finalmente, si alguno de ustedes se le acusa de delitos menores, yo voy a tener que hablar con ustedes lo que es una audiencia preliminar.
A preliminary hearing occurs where you were present, the judge is present, the police officer who arrested you, and your attorney.
Una audiencia preliminar se da donde usted estaría presente, el juez estaría presente, el policía que lo arrestó estaría presente y su abogado.
It is not your trial.
No sería su juicio.
It is where the police officer must show the judge that he has enough evidence for your case to go to the next stage.
Es donde la gente le tendría que mostrar al juez que él tiene suficientes pruebas en el caso para que el caso proceda a su próxima etapa.
If he does not have enough evidence, your case can be dismissed.
Y si él no tiene suficientes pruebas, el caso podría ser desestimado.
Now, you can choose to have that hearing if you are charged with misdemeanors, or you can tell me, Judge, I wish to not have the hearing and have my case move forward more swiftly.
Ahora, usted podría elegir tener esa audiencia si a usted se le acusa de un delito menor, o usted me puede decir, juez, yo quiero renunciar a esa audiencia para que mi caso pueda ser procesado más rápido.
Okay. All right, with that, if I could have up first Ms. Consuela Chavez Herrera.
Y con eso, sí, podría tener a la señorita Consuelo Chávez Herrera.
All right, are you Ms. Herrera?
¿Es usted la señorita Herrera?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Herrera, are you currently working?
Señorita Herrera, ¿actualmente está usted trabajando?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you making per month, ma'am?
¿Y cuánto está usted ganando por mes, señora?
Pues me pagan a la quincena.
They pay me every other week.
And about how much is that per every other week?
¿Y más o menos cuánto es a la quincena?
Como 1,000 y algo, 1,100.
Like 1,000 and change, like 1,100.
All right. So, Ms. Herrera, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass.
Señorita Herrera, a usted se le imputa un cargo de invasión o daños a la propiedad.
Okay. And your bond amount, ma'am, at this point, I am going to waive your bond, which allows you to be released until your next court date.
Y la cantidad de su fianza, señora, yo le voy a permitir salir sin tener que pagar una fianza, lo cual le va a permitir a usted estar en libertad hasta su próxima corte.
And so that means that you will go home later today, but please make sure that you keep an eye on the mail because your next court date will be sent to you in the mail. Do you understand?
Esto significa que a usted le van a permitir salir en libertad más tarde en el día de hoy, pero manténgase pendiente del correo, porque esto significa que le van a enviar su próximo citatorio por correo. ¿Entiende usted?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Now, Ms. Herrera, I have appointed you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge for you. You will have someone to assist you on your case.
Señor Herrera, yo le he asignado un abogado de oficio sin costo alguno para usted. O sea, que usted va a tener a alguien que le va a ayudar con su caso.
No sé todavía. No sé todavía si mi hijo me puso algún abogado, no sé.
I don't know yet. I don't know if my son hired an attorney.
Okay. Well, if he ultimately has hired someone, your attorney will know how to replace the one that I have appointed you. But for today's purpose, um, please allow this person to assist you.
Si él ya le ha contratado uno, este abogado que yo le asigné va a saber cómo permitirle a la otra persona que lo reemplace. Pero por el día de hoy yo le he asignado uno.
Okay, está bien. Thank you.
All right, thank
that's
you.
fine,
Now,
thank you.
Ms. Chavez, before you leave, as you're walking away from the camera, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Señorita Chávez, antes de usted marcharse, el alguacil le va a dar un papel que usted tiene que firmar y después de eso puede retirarse. Muchas gracias, señora.
Okay, sorry.
And if I could have up next Mr. Jose Bueno Espinoza.
La próxima persona es José Bueno Espinosa.
Are you Mr. Espinoza?
Yeah.
¿Es usted el señor Espinosa?
Sí.
Yes.
You were charged, sir, with one count of hit and run,
Señora, a usted se le imputa un cargo de chocar y darse a la fuga,
one count of failure to yield the right of way,
un cargo de no ceder el paso,
one count of driving without a license.
un cargo de manejar sin licencia de conducir.
Your bond for the hit and run is $1,500.
Su cargo por chocar y darse a la fuga es de 1,500.
And your bond for the final two charges is $500 apiece for a total of $2,500.
Y su fianza por los otros dos cargos es de 500 cada uno, para un total de 2,500.
Okay. Are you currently working, sir?
Actualmente, ¿está usted trabajando, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much do you make per month?
¿Y cuánto gana usted por mes?
Varía porque pues, a veces me paga, realmente pocas horas, unos 3,000 al mes.
It changes because sometimes I don't work that many hours. It's about $3,000 a month.
And so based on that, sir, I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so that if you need one, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Basado en esto, yo no voy a poder asignarle un abogado de oficio, o sea que si usted necesita uno, usted tendría que contratarse su propio abogado. ¿Entiende usted esto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier about a preliminary hearing. You were charged with misdemeanors, sir, so you have a right to that hearing, or you can tell me, Judge, I don't want that hearing, and to send your case quickly to the prosecutor. Which would you prefer, sir?
Anteriormente yo hablé de lo que es la audiencia preliminar. Usted tiene el derecho de tener esa audiencia o decirme, juez, yo quiero renunciar a esa audiencia y hacer que mi caso se procese más rápido. ¿Qué quiere usted hacer?
No lo escuché bien, se cortó.
I didn't hear you very well. You
Okay.
were breaking up.
So a preliminary hearing, sir, is a hearing before your trial with yourself, your attorney, your judge, and the police officer.
Señor, su audiencia preliminar es una audiencia que ocurre antes del juicio con usted, su abogado, el juez y el policía.
Okay. The purpose of this hearing is for the police officer to show the judge if there's enough evidence for your case to continue forward.
El propósito de esa audiencia es para que el policía le muestre al juez si hay suficientes pruebas para proceder con su caso.
Okay. You can choose to have that hearing if you will not make bond, or you can tell me, Judge, I don't want that hearing. Please go ahead and send my case to the prosecutor.
Usted puede elegir tener esa audiencia si usted no va a tener, no va a poder pagar su fianza, o usted puede elegir decirme, pues, cancele esa audiencia y envíe este caso al otro tribunal para que se procese más rápido.
So my question to you is, sir, would you like me to set that hearing for you or to waive that hearing and send it to the prosecutor?
O sea que mi pregunta para usted, señor, ¿quiere usted que yo le programe esa audiencia o que yo le cancele esta audiencia? ¿O quiere usted que yo le envíe el caso a la fiscalía?
La verdad no entiendo muy bien ese proceso, pero
No sé si cómo están para pagar ¿cómo se llama? El, lo que me están diciendo pagar. No sé.
The thing is that the truth is I don't understand the process. And I'm just wondering if I can just pay.
So what I will do, sir, to protect you, I don't want to waive your hearing. So I'm going to set that hearing date for September 3rd of 2024 at 8:30 a.m. If you want to pay, that is something you will need to discuss with your attorney that you hire for your case, because this is not the time to do that.
Ok, señor. Entonces lo que yo voy a hacer es que yo le voy a programar su audiencia preliminar para protegerlo. Se la voy a programar para el día 3 de septiembre del 2024 a las 8:30 de la mañana. Y cuando tiene que pagar, pues, es algo que usted tendría que hablar con su abogado porque este no es el momento para hacer eso.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
All right. If I could have up next, Mr. Ramos Sanchez.
Ramos. Señor. Señor. Ramos. Ramos. Valencia. Vamos. Come on. No, Sanchez.
Are you Mr. Ramos Sanchez?
¿Es usted el señor Ramón Sánchez?
Yo soy. Sí.
Yes.
Sir, you are charged with 1 count of DUI and 1 count of striking a fixed object.
Señora, a usted se le imputa un cargo de manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol y un cargo de chocar un objeto fijo.
And the DUI carries a bond of $5,000 and the second charge a bond of $1,500 for a total of $6,500.
El cargo de manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol conlleva una fianza de $5,000 y el otro cargo una fianza de $1,500 para un total de $6,500.
Are you currently working, sir?
Actualmente, ¿está usted trabajando, señor?
No estoy trabajando ahorita.
No, I'm not working right now.
Y lo segundo que no estoy tomando porque no tomo. Y el problema que tuve fue que se me estalló una llanta del carro y el carro se me balanceó. Entonces yo me fui a parquear de un amigo para arreglar la llanta cuando me llegó la policía.
Espere, señor. And the other problem is that I was not drinking because I don't drink. And what happened was one of my tires blew up and the car was shaking. And then I went to park at one of my friend's house.
Now, remember, sir, what I said earlier, I cannot discuss with you your facts. So I have a question for you once she tells you what I said.
Recuerde, señor, lo que le dije anteriormente, que yo no puedo hablar con usted con respecto a los hechos en su caso. O sea, que yo tengo algunas preguntas para usted después que ella le diga lo que yo dije.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the last question I have for you is I mentioned earlier, you were charged with a misdemeanor. So you have a right to a preliminary hearing where they will go over the facts of your case again with them, or I can skip that hearing and move it to the prosecutor. Would you like me to set that hearing date for you, sir?
Como yo le dije anteriormente, usted tiene el derecho a tener una audiencia preliminar donde ellos hablan de los detalles o de los hechos de su caso, o usted tiene el derecho a renunciar a tener la audiencia preliminar. ¿Quiere usted que yo le asigne la fecha de su audiencia preliminar?
Pero si me tocaría pagar, ¿cuánto tengo que pagar?
But if I have to pay, how much do I have to pay?
I can't tell you that. That's not for here to discuss today. This is simply for me to tell you what you've been charged with.
Eso no es algo que yo le puedo decir. Para eso no es que estamos acá en el día de hoy, solamente estamos acá para yo informarle de lo que se le acusa.
Okay. So to protect you, sir, why don't we go ahead and set that date for you as September 3rd at 8:30 a.m. if you do not bond out.
O sea que para protegerlo, señor, ¿por qué no fijamos esa fecha de la audiencia para usted? La vamos a fijar para el día 3 de septiembre a las 8:30 de la mañana. Eso es si usted no paga su fianza y sale.
Está bien.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
And lastly should be Jorge Valencia.
Y finalmente debe ser Jorge Valencia.
And are you Mr. Valencia?
¿Es usted el señor Valencia?
Sí.
Yes.
What's his name? Ramos Sanchez.
Sánchez Ramos.
All right, so Mr. Valencia, let me start by saying that your next court date, you got two coming court dates, sir. The first is going to be September 4th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
Ok, señor Valencia, vamos a comenzar a hablar con usted para decirle que usted tiene dos fechas o dos audiencias programadas. La primera va a ser el día 4 de septiembre a las 8:30 de la mañana vía Zoom.
Your second court date is going to be September 6th for your bond hearing, also at 8:30 a.m. and also via Zoom.
La segunda audiencia va a ser el día 6 de septiembre a las 8:30 de la mañana y también vía Zoom esta audiencia va a ser para pedir fianza.
Now, to tell you what you are charged with, sir, you are charged with 4 counts of child molestation,
Yo le voy a decir cuáles son los cargos que se le imputa, señor. A usted se le imputa 4 cargos por abuso sexual de un menor,
1 count of aggravated child molestation,
un cargo de abuso sexual a un menor con agravante,
2 counts of false imprisonment,
2 cargos de privación ilícita de la libertad,
3 counts of felony cruelty to children in the first degree.
3 cargos por delitos graves de crueldad infantil en el primer grado.
¿De qué, disculpa?
I'm sorry,
3 counts
that?
of, oh, I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
lo siento, ¿qué dijo, señor?
No entendí la última que me dijo.
I didn't understand the last charge that you mentioned.
The last charge is cruelty to children in the first degree that I mentioned.
El último cargo que le mencioné es crueldad infantil en el primer grado.
Crueldad infantil.
And then the last charge is enticing a child for an indecent purpose.
Y el último cargo es incitar a un niño o niña con un propósito indecente.
Okay. Now, today I have denied you bond, sir, so you will not be able to bond out.
En el día de hoy, señor, yo le estoy negando la fianza. O sea, que usted no va a poder pagar su fianza y salir.
If at some point you are granted bond, sir, please understand that you are to have no contact with Leslie Flores,
Y si en algún momento, señor, a usted le conceden una fianza, por favor entienda que usted no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con Leslie Flores,
Adriana Rivera,
Adriana Rivera
or Giselle Valencia.
o Giselle Valencia.
Are you currently working, sir?
¿Está trabajando usted actualmente, señor?
Estaba de vacaciones una semana.
I was
sí
on
trabajo.
vacation for a week, but I do work.
Okay, how much do you earn per month, sir?
¿Cuánto gana usted por mes, señor?
Desde 900 hasta 1200. No, por mes unos 3000, 3500 por ahí. Menos.
From 900 to 1200 per month will be from 3000 to 3500, something like that.
Okay. How many children do you have, if any?
¿Cuántos niños tiene, si tiene alguno?
No, yo no tengo hijos.
No, I don't have any children.
And you earn about 3,500 per month, is that correct?
Y usted gana más o menos unos 3500 por mes, ¿es correcto?
Es que me pagan por hora 22. Y hay veces que meto muchas horas de overtime, sale el cheque de 1000 y algo. Pero no siempre.
That is not always. The thing is that they pay me $22 per hour. And sometimes I do a lot of overtime. And my check is like $1,200, but that's not all the time.
Okay. So, sir, I will go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer to assist you on your case free of charge then.
Ok, señor, yo voy a proceder y le voy a nombrar un abogado de oficio para que le ayude sin costo.
All right, sir. With that, that is all I have for you today. Good luck to you.
Y con esto es todo lo que tengo para usted en el día de hoy. Buena suerte.
Yo tengo abogado.
Repita, señor.
Yo tengo un abogado.
I have an attorney.
Okay. So after today, sir, your attorney will know how to put their name in place of the one that I have given you. And so let's just leave it there for today until they change it.
Por el día de hoy, señor, su abogado sabría cómo poner su nombre en lugar del nombre de la persona que yo le he asignado. O sea que por ahorita vamos a dejarlo así hasta que ellos lo cambien.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, Ms. Day. I believe that's all.
Female, Your Honor. You can step up.
Yep, that's it, Ms. Day.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Are you Ms. Andrews, ma'am?
What's your last name?
Andrews.
All right. So, Ms. Andrews, you're charged with one count of obstruction of an officer. Ms. Andrews, I have reviewed the information that you provided to us here this morning. And based on that information, ma'am, I am going to go ahead and release you today. Now, what that means is, ma'am, not that your case is over, but simply that you are going home today, okay?
Yes, sir.
Please keep an eye out in the mail as you will get your next court date in the mail. Now, based on the other information you provided, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. That's all I've got for you, ma'am. So if you would, as you are leaving the screen, just please speak with the deputies if they're going to have a piece of paper for you to sign, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You wait.
Yes, she did.
We're gonna fill this out.
And are you Miss Elliott?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Miss Elliott, you were charged with possession of a controlled substance. That is a felony, ma'am. Based on that, ma'am, your next court date is going to be September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Okay.
Your bond amount is going to be $3,500. And based on the information that you have provided, ma'am, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer moving forward to assist you. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do you have any questions of me about anything, ma'am?
About my bond. So my mom paid half of that last night. Am I still be able to get out today, or how is that?
So if you were automatically given a bond, then that will go toward it, ma'am. If she's paid something toward it, then of course that will obviously be taken into account with whatever we've done here today. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
You need to sign it.
No, she doesn't need to sign anything. All right. Are you Miss Harris?
Yes.
All right, so Ms. Harris here, you were charged with one count of theft by taking. You were also charged with one count of theft by conversion. The theft by taking, ma'am, is a felony. I have dismissed the theft by conversion, so you just have the one outstanding charge. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be September 4th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, your bond amount is $3,500 for the one theft that you have remaining, okay?
You said 3,500.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, and based on the information you have provided, I am not going to be able to assist you with a court-appointed lawyer this morning. And so if you would like a court-appointed lawyer on your case, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions I can answer for you?
No, thank you.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You step up.
Hello,
Good morning. Are you Miss Shaniqua?
Martha. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ms. Shaniqua, you're charged with one count of possession of marijuana. Give me one second. Did you fill out our paperwork here this morning?
I don't know, but I might need to refill it out.
Yes.
Okay. You're charged with one count of possession of marijuana over an ounce. That is a felony, ma'am. And so what that means is your next court date is going to be September 4th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's also going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Slide out.
And you said you did fill it out, or you're not sure if you did?
I probably didn't complete it, but, you can go on and move forward as far as with the bond though.
Well, we need that sheet of paper here, which is why I'm asking. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking through.
Yeah, I'd like to be, you can give me a public defender.
Hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Are you working right now?
No, sir. Not right now.
Were you working before?
Yes,
Where were you working?
warehouse PVH, McDonough, Georgia.
When was the last time you worked there? Ms. Rocker?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you worked there?
Weeks ago, months ago.
Okay. So I am gonna give you a court-appointed lawyer then, ma'am, based on that. Your bond amount, ma'am, as to this felony amount of drugs is $6,000. I will give you a lawyer free of charge, so you don't have to worry about that. The only thing I'd ask, Ms. Rocker, if you would just fill out one of those papers for us here, as to your background, so that we have that on file, okay? And then hand that to the deputies. They'll know what I'm talking about.
You said the winner.
Fill out one of the CAAs, a blank CAA. Tell them that.
All right, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
That's $6,000.
Yes, ma'am, 6,000.
You just come right here. You can step up.
All right, and are you Miss Rivers?
No, that's me.
What's your name, ma'am?
McClendon, Salisha McClendon.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, so we usually do all the ones on Jots first. So do you have Monica Rivers? And then we'll do her next. We got to do the ones on Jots first, deputy.
Yes, sir.
What's that mean?
So if I could have Rivers.
She's
I'm
like,
right here, sir.
All right. All right, so Ms. Rivers, you were charged with one count of DUI, you were charged with one count of DUI less safe, one count of DUI per se, and one count of driving past for conditions, Ms. Rivers. Now, I have dismissed one of the DUIs, so you only have one remaining, and that's the DUI less safe. Do you understand that?
Sorry.
Now, your bond amount is going to be $2,500.
I'm sorry.
Your bond amount is going to be $2,500 for the DUI less safe and $500 for the too fast for conditions. And so your total bond is going to be $3,000. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with misdemeanors, ma'am, you have a right to that preliminary hearing that I mentioned earlier, or you have to waive that hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
I can waive it.
Okay, so ma'am, I am going to show that you are waiving your right to your preliminary hearing. And so what that means is after you and I are done speaking, the deputies there will have a document for you to sign. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second. I'm just looking over everything. Looking at the information that you provided to us, ma'am, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so you will get a lawyer free of charge to assist you on your case, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have any questions about anything of me before I let you go here?
The bond percentage is 15% or 10%?
It's 15%. And so again, what that would mean for you is you're going to be responsible for roughly about $500 or so.
$500, okay. And if I process my bond now, I should be out by tonight?
I can't tell you honestly the exact time frame, but it should be roughly around that time. I usually tell people give it at least 24 hours, but somewhere around that time frame. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm only asking because I have an emergency surgery scheduled tomorrow. I'm experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. So the fetus is in the tube, so my life is literally like in danger right now, and my surgery is in the morning. So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Well, what I would do, ma'am, is I think, please go ahead and advise the jail of your medical concern, so that they can be made aware of that, and they will know how they would like to, handle that. Once you advise them, they'll be able to instruct you what the best thing to do will be, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Next up should be Stacy Smith on Jot. Stacy Smith.
Signature here for waiving up.
And she waived, so she should have a paper to sign. All right, are you Stacy Smith?
Yes.
All right, so good morning, Ms. Smith.
Morning.
So Ms. Smith, you get your paperwork here. All right, so Ms. Smith, you were charged here with one count of criminal trespass, one count of battery, family violence, and one count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. The criminal trespass misdemeanor, ma'am. The battery, family violence is also a misdemeanor. And then lastly, Ms. Smith, the cruelty to children, it should have been a misdemeanor. Now, was charged as a felony. However, I also found some information to be lacking that you needed in order to move forward against that charge against you. And so based on that, give me 1 second, Ms. Smith. I'm just trying to, okay. Based on that, ma'am, I am gonna go ahead, I'm gonna dismiss the cruelty to children. So you have 2 remaining charges, the battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. My first question to you, ma'am, is you have 2 misdemeanors remaining. Would you like to have a preliminary hearing date, or would you like me to waive that hearing date for you?
Just waive it, whatever will get me out of here the fastest, because I want to be back with my kids.
I am going to show, ma'am, that you have asked that I waive your preliminary hearing date. And so what that means is once we're done speaking, the deputy will have a piece of paper for you to sign. As to your bond amount, ma'am, the bond on the trespass is $2,500. The bond on the battery is $3,500. You're to have no contact with the party that was arrested, Mr. Verdell Washington, and you are to stay away from 950 Lake Ridge Parkway where this occurred. Now, as I said earlier, this is somewhere that you were living at the time, ma'am. Please understand that while this case is pending, the only time that you can return to that address would be if you are accompanied by the sheriff's office. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. All right, ma'am. Well, if you don't have any other questions of me, that's all I have for you. As I said, the deputy will have something for you to sign.
So my bond is a total of $6,000.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up should be Miss Ashley Tatum on JOT. Are you Miss Tatum?
Yes.
All right, so Miss Tatum, you're charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, ma'am. Your bond amount is $3,500. You are to stay away from a Mr. Brian Walker, as well as from the address of 8875 Lexington Drive. Now, because you are charged with misdemeanor, Miss Tatum, you have a right to the preliminary hearing I mentioned, or you can waive your right to that hearing. What would you like to do, ma'am? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing? I'm sorry?
I would like to have the hearing.
All right, so the hearing date for you, ma'am, because you're charged with a misdemeanor, is going to be September 3rd, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, your preliminary hearing date, if you don't make bond, will be September 3rd. That will be at 8:30 a.m., and that will be via Zoom. Now, based on the information that you provided me here this morning, ma'am, on your court-appointed documents, I have gone ahead. I've appointed you a court-appointed lawyer there, so you will get a lawyer free of charge, okay?
Okay.
All right, man. Well, that's all I have for you. If you don't have any questions of me, good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She waived it on?
Next up should be Jennifer Verdell, Verdell, and that's also on JOTS. And then after her should be Washington, also on JOTS. Excuse me. Yeah, Michelle Washington. So it should be Jennifer Verdell and Michelle Washington. All right. Are you Miss Verdell?
Yes.
All right. So Miss Verdell. Okay, come on, computer. You were charged with 2 counts of simple assault, family violence, ma'am. Your bond amount for each is $1,500 for a total bond of $5,000. You were to stay away from the alleged victim, Ms. Jessica Collins, and the address 7124 South Lake Parkway, where this was alleged to have happened. So again, if that's where you live, please, as I said earlier, you are not to report back there unless you are accompanied by the sheriff's office within 10 days of your release, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you are working. How much are you earning per month, ma'am?
Like, probably like 2,000 maybe.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge here this morning. Now, my last question to you is, you have the right to that preliminary hearing I mentioned, or I can waive that right. What would you like me to do? Set the hearing date or waive it?
You can waive it.
All right, Ms. Verdale, so I'm going to show that you are asking me to waive that hearing here this morning. And so once we are done talking, ma'am, the deputies there will have a piece of paper that we'll need for you to sign. Once you sign that piece of paper, ma'am, I believe that's all that I have for you this morning. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
So the bond, so I had to pay 5,000.
No, so remember what I said earlier. So there are a couple ways that you can make bond. You can make bond by paying the total of 5,000 plus any fees that the sheriff adds on to it, or you can use a bonding company. And so if you would like to use a bonding company, you would only be responsible for 15% of the 5, which would roughly be about $750 for you, okay? All right, any other questions, ma'am?
No.
All right, well, after you sign that paper, that's all we have for you this morning. Good luck to you. All right, should be Ms. Washington.
Hello.
Good morning. And then after Ms. Washington, then we're off jot, so whoever's left. Are you Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, you were charged with 1 count of battery family violence as a misdemeanor, and you were also charged with 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Now, ma'am, based on the information that I have here this morning, I am going to go ahead and set you bond as it relates to the battery family violence. However, Ms. Washington, the cruelty to children that you are charged with was incorrectly charged, and so I am going to dismiss felony. So all you will have remaining is the misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, earlier I spoke about a preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that preliminary hearing, ma'am, or would you like to waive that preliminary hearing right?
I would like to waive it.
All right, so I am going to show here this morning that you are waiving your right to that preliminary hearing. What that means is, ma'am, that once we are done speaking, you will have some paperwork to sign over there with the deputy. Your bond amount to that one remaining charge, I need you to know, is going to be $3,500. You will have to stay away from the other party that was alleged to have been involved in this, of course, Miss Stacy Smith. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you gave us this morning, ma'am, I am also going to provide you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. That does mean that you will get a lawyer free of charge, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Do you have any questions of me about anything?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, let's keep it going.
Decent right there.
Who you need next on?
And I think that took us to
Two females.
McClendon.
McClendon.
Yep, McClendon. And then who we have behind McClendon?
Pitts.
Pitts. Okay. And are you Miss McClendon?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that, ma'am. That confusion. Just give me 1 second here. And then, okay.
I think all the others. Look at the dorm girls. All the ones going to the dorm. We came from the dorms, please. Came from the dorms. He's looking out. With you.
Information on you this morning.
I know some of you are from housing in one, but you did something out there.
Give me 1 second, ma'am. I'm looking for your paperwork. No, these should be off. I don't see their paperwork in here, the physical paperwork. I'm just double checking to make sure I was given this morning because I don't have either one of them right now. Give me 1 second, deputies.
Miss Robert. And then Miss Parker in the, yeah. Was it happening? Yeah. She came from the.
She was in dorm.
Last name, man. Yeah. Last name, man. Take an elevator. I'll take it, right? Ladies, can you hear me down? Yeah, he came from so they're right there. Yeah. He was being stored down, we'll go down. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't. Deputy, can I have you on screen?
Yes, sir.
For some reason, the jail, whoever was doing the first appearance paperwork, I've gone through everything now. For those who are not on JOTS, they did not provide me any paperwork here for either McClendon or for Pitts.
What was the last name?
McClendon and Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts, I think is one you said, and then McClendon, who was the female that was at the screen just then. So
They both said they paid their bond. You think that's the reason?
if they bond, yep, then that's it. That will be why.
She didn't pay her bond already. I don't know, did your mom come up here? Yeah, she came up here. I don't know. She doesn't know if she paid it or not, but I paid my bond. I paid it with my money.
We're saying that they paid it, Deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pitts, that would be why. It's not showing on here, so maybe whoever did it this morning hadn't seen that as of yet. McClendon, I mean, that might be why they did, and they just didn't mark it because they didn't give me warrant for either person.
Gotcha.
So what I'm gonna do then for Pitts, if Pitts knows that she has paid, what I'll do is I'm gonna continue both of them today and just make a note for the person doing it tomorrow. That if they've paid, then of course they won't be up because they bonded out. But as of right now, I'm gonna just show them both continue till tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Then that should be, if we could just do start with the males on Johnson.
So
So the JOTS male, so it should be first.
The first guy come right here. The same report up the top.
It should be Bailey, Caldwell, Carter. Bailey, Caldwell, and Carter.
And fellas, y'all gonna sit down in the same order. Oh, you paid it. If you paid it.
Are you Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So Mr. Bailey, you are charged with 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of more than 1 ounce of marijuana, possession with intent, and possession of a Schedule II substance. Sir, because you're charged with a felony, that means your next court date, should you not make bond, is going to be September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, the first firearm charge carries a bond of $7,500. The second is $7,500. The marijuana $6,000. Possession with intent $10,000, and the possession of a Schedule II $5,000. Your total bond amount, sir, is $36,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Bailey, looking at the information that I have here, I am going to go ahead. Well, let me ask you this first, Mr. Bailey. Are you working?
Yes, sir. I own my own business, at this time.
Okay, about how much are you making per month?
Anywhere from between 50 to 100.
Anywhere between what?
50 to 100.
50 to 100 what?
Yes, sir.
No, how much per month? How much per month are you making?
Like 8,000.
Okay, what kind of business are you doing?
Say healthcare.
Okay. All right. So right now, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. Ultimately, you decide that you want to hire your own lawyer, please just let your new lawyer know, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir. I thank you.
All right, good luck to you. Good luck to you, sir. All right, so next up should be, I have Caldwell. And after Caldwell,
Yes, sir.
Carter, and Conway. Are you Mr. Caldwell?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Caldwell, you are charged with 1 count of battery, or that is a misdemeanor. And so because it's a misdemeanor, Mr. Caldwell, you have a right to that preliminary hearing I spoke about, or you can waive that right. Would you like me to set that hearing date, or would you like to waive that right, sir?
I like to waive that right, whatever.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and show that you are asking me to waive your right to a preliminary hearing. And so what that means is, sir, once we're done talking, the deputies will have some paperwork for you to sign. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Is that where I can sign myself out?
I'm sorry?
Is that where I can sign myself out?
No, sir. No, sir. Now, as to the bond amount that you are going to be required here, sir, I'm going to show that you're going to have a bond amount of $3,500. Do you understand that?
Well, I'm on a fixed income. I don't have the money to the end of the month.
I understand that. But as of right now, that is going to be your bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you will have a special condition, sir. That means that if you do make bond at some point, you will be required. All right, give me 1 second, the computer. You will be required to stay away from the alleged victim of this crime, Mr. Christopher Davis. Do you understand that?
I don't even know him. So yeah,
I understand, but the person that you are alleged to have been involved in this argument with is the person that you were to have no contact with. Do you understand that?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, sir. Now, I understand that you just said a little earlier that you are living on a fixed income.
Yes,
Based on that information, sir, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer as well, sir. So you will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me, sir?
So when I will be able to see, when I'll be able to see this lawyer. I won't be able.
So I don't have any control over how quickly they get to you, but I do send these documents to them immediately. And so they should be with you in the next 2 weeks.
So I'll be sitting there until I guess to the end of the month then.
Unfortunately, it sounds as if you will. Yes, sir.
Sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking.
I have Carter, Conway, and Hines. Carter, Conway, Hines. Are you Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Carter, you were charged here with 1 count of felony possession of a controlled substance, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and 1 count of possession by receipt of stolen property. Those are all felonies, sir. And what that means is your next court date, should you not make your bond, is going to be September 4th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
So I don't have no bond.
I'm going to go through it with you, but I'm saying, should you not make that bond, that's going to be your next court date, okay?
Yeah.
Now, your bond, sir, as to the first possession of controlled substance is $5,000. As to the theft, it's $5,000, and as to the firearm, it's $6,000 for a total of $16,000. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, sir. That's all I have for you. Unless you have any questions, good luck to you, sir.
I'm good.
All right. If I could have Mr. Conway.
Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. You Mr. Conway?
No, I'm Deputy Jackson. Quick question. I don't know how you do it, but because of Conway, they usually make them go last.
Oh, and I apologize, sir. I didn't have my screen up on that. Yeah, we could, is that the gentleman from the hospital?
No, based on the charges.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay, no problem. No problem. Sorry about that again, Deputy. I wasn't looking. We're gonna do Conway last. So let's do, I've got Hines, Collie, Kollie, and then Logan.
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
All right, sir. And what's your last name?
Hines.
All right, so Mr. Hines here, you are charged with 1 count regarding a traffic control device, 1 count of reckless driving, and 1 count of felony fleeing. Now, sir, because that is a felony, your next court date is September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, based on the information you provided to me, sir, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning. Do you understand that?
Yes. No, I don't. Can you repeat it?
I'm going to give you a lawyer free of charge here this morning. Okay?
I don't know, but it's if that's how I go, okay.
Okay. Now, bond amount, sir, for the traffic control device violation is 1,000. For the reckless driving, it's 1,500. For the felony fleeing, it's 5,000. And so your total bond is going to be $7,500. Do you understand that?
Can you repeat the last one for me, sir?
1,000, 1,500, and then also 1,000, 1,500, and then 5,000 for your total bond, $7,500. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. And as I told you, I'm giving you a lawyer free of charge. You're charged with a felony, so if you don't bond out, that next court date is going to be September 4th. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay. You have a good day.
All right.
Stop talking online, please. Your Honor, just one of Pitts was confirmed to be bonded out.
Pitts did bond out. Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, and what's your name, sir?
Moss, Collie.
Okay, give me 1 second, sir.
Yeah, go to
You're asking.
All right, so Mr. Moss Collie, you are charged here with 1 count of criminal trespass. That is a misdemeanor, sir. And so you do have a right to that preliminary hearing that I spoke of. You can have that hearing or you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do?
Can I ask a question first?
Yes, sir.
So if I go through the preliminary hearing, can I still get a bond? Is it?
Well, I'm going to give you a bond. You're going to have a bond regardless.
Oh, okay. Yes, if I could do a preliminary, does that work against me somehow on the back end if I take that preliminary?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
If I take the preliminary hearing, does that work against me somehow further down the road?
No, it doesn't necessarily. No, sir, you're entitled to that hearing. It doesn't. The only thing that happens is it's going to take a little longer because the hearing is scheduled. Earliest I can get you on a date if you don't bond out is September 3rd. If you bond out, you automatically waive that right to that hearing. If you want the hearing, it won't be for a month, or I can just move your case on up to the prosecutor, and that's going to move it a little faster. But you're entitled to it, so you're not punished in any way for exploring your right to the hearing.
You said the preliminary would be today. So you said what?
No, not till September. So if you don't bond out, it won't happen till September.
Yeah, I'll do the preliminary. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so as I was saying, that court date, sir, is going to be September 3rd, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. And now, as I said earlier, you are going to get it, unless you bond out. So keep that in mind. Your bond amount, sir, we're going to go through that here. Just let me go ahead and enter your court date.
That's what that name on none of the team.
Your bond amount, sir, is going to be $2,500. Okay.
Is there any possible way for some type of leniency or forgiveness to try to drop that in any type of way possibly, please?
No, sir. No, sir. Based on the information you provided, sir, I am going to go ahead. I'm not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer as well based on the information you provided. And so again, your bond amount, $2,500. Your next court date is going to be September 3rd if you don't bond out for the preliminary hearing. Yes, sir. You had a question?
Yes, so I actually lose that job this week. I'm a Medicare and Medicaid. So my background gets checked like 30, 40 times a year. So as soon as that gets checked, I automatically lose that job. So my income is about to be zero. Don't stop before Friday.
Here's what I'm gonna do. They do check that again. As of right now, with what you provided, I'm gonna have to deny it. But I would just let them know when you get to that first court date. And so at that point, you know, if they decide to reconsider, they can do it then. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next up should be McClendon, Perez, and oh, here is McClendon right here. Deputies, do we still have McClendon around?
No, Your Honor, we can go get her though.
Okay, yeah, let's get through these guys and she can come back out the end with that last gentleman. I found her. So it's just Pitts is out to bond, and then I've got McClendon here. All right, so I should have Logan, Perez, and Pike. Logan, Perez, and Pike.
Yeah, I'm Logan.
All right, are you Mr. Logan?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Logan, you're charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana over an ounce, 1 count of possession of a drug-related objects, window tint violation, as well as driving with a suspended license, sir. Those are all misdemeanors. And so what that means is, as I mentioned earlier, you have a right to that preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right. Now, based on the information that you provided, sir, I have taken a look at everything. Well, let's do this first. Let's go through the preliminary hearing. What would you like to do, sir? Would you like to waive that hearing or have that hearing?
I'll waive it.
All right, so I am going to show that you are waiving your right to the hearing. Now, as far as the bond goes, your bond for the marijuana, let me tell you that. Give me 1 second. Let me waive this for you. So yes, you want to waive. All right, so your bond amount, sir, for the marijuana is $1,500, for the drugs, $500, for the window tint, $500, license, $1,500. So your total bond is $4,000. Again, that is $1,500 for the marijuana, $500 for the drug-related objects, $500 for the window tint, and $1,500 for the suspended license, for a total of $5,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, lastly, because of the information that you provided here this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. You will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions with me, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Next man up.
Perez, Pike, and then I've got Robinson after that. All right, are you Mr. Perez?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Perez here, pulling out your paperwork. You were charged with 1 count of distracted driving, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and then 1 count of driving, possession of a drug-related object. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Now, because those are misdemeanors, sir, you have a right to that preliminary hearing that we talked about, or you can waive that preliminary hearing. Which would you like to do?
I mean, I'll take.
Okay, so you would like to have it, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so if you don't make your bond, sir, and that's only if you don't make it, your next court date is going to be September 3rd, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Right.
Again, that's September 3rd, that's 8:30 a.m., and that's via Zoom. Now for your bond. Your bond amount to the distracted driving is $500. The marijuana, $1,500. The drug-related objects, $500 as well. So your total bond is $2,500. $500. Do you understand that?
Correct. Yeah, I do.
No. I'm sorry.
I do. I understand.
Okay. So based on the information you provided to me here this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. And so that means you will have a lawyer free of charge. Unless you have any questions for me, sir, that's all I have. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. You too.
Next man up.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Pike?
Yes, sir.
Right, so Mr. Pike, you are charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree and 1 count of battery. The criminal damage carries a bond amount of $3,500, the battery $3,500. So your bond amount total is $7,000. Sir, you must stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Malcolm Jenkins, and you also have to stay away from the address of 5930 Highway 85, apartment 305. Understand that you may live in that apartment complex. So I was very specific to say that you just can't go to his apartment. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, lastly, sir, because you were charged with a felony, that does mean that you have a new court date. So if you don't make your bond of $7,000, your next court date is going to be September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. May I say something right quick, if that's okay with you?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My mom is my guardian, my, what you call my attorney, my guardianship or whatever. And I have a lot of disabilities, and I just want y'all to be aware of that because I have Asperger's, autism, ADHD, a real bad depression, PTSD and everything. And I'm trying to control it right now. I need my medicine. I haven't had it in a while. I'm just now getting back on most of my medicine.
Okay. Well, thank you for telling me that, sir. But unfortunately, that will be something for the jail to take care of. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Pike.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I've got Robinson, Sampson, and Thornton. Robinson, Sampson, and Thornton. Are you Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Mr. Robinson, you are what we call a fugitive from justice, sir. And what that means is, just to go through that really quickly with you, or not quickly, but briefly with you. So you're charged here. Looks like that they're alleging that you committed an offense out of state. I believe it's in Texas. And so, I'm sorry.
Auburn, Alabama.
Okay. But essentially what that means is you have this out of state warrant.
Let me get back to the housing.
Yes, you have this out of state warrant here. That we're dealing with. Give me 1 second, sir. I didn't get your stuff. And he was showing a warrant, but I'm not showing where. Okay, they did put it here. I've got it. Okay, so yes.
Want to go last?
No, well, if you want to, yeah, we can go him last with Robinson and McDaniel since they're both the same. And then make sure we do them together. I've got Sampson, Thornton, and Watts. Are you Mr. Sampson?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Sampson. So, Mr. Sampson, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence, sir. It is a misdemeanor. And so you do have a right to a preliminary hearing, or I can waive that right. Which would you like to do? Have it or waive it?
Waive it.
All right, sir. So I am going to show that you are asking me to waive your preliminary hearing this morning. Now, your bond amount as it relates to the battery family violence is $3,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also have special conditions, and that means that you are to stay away from the alleged victim, Ms. Shakira Coleman. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. So that's all I've got for you this morning. So unless you have any questions for me, we're good to go. Thank you. All right, should be Thornton, Watts, and White. Are you Mr. Thornton?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thornton, you're charged with, I'm sorry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you are charged with failure to maintain lane, light violation, felony fleeing, felony possession of a firearm, misdemeanor obstruction of an officer, and marijuana possession of less than an ounce, sir. Because you are charged with felonies here, your next court date, if you don't bond out after I go through your bond, is going to be September 4th And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you provided to me, sir, I am gonna go ahead, I am gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your
Now,
Honor.
as to your bond amount, the failure to maintain lane is $500. The taillight violation is $500. The felony fleeing is $5,000. The firearm is $8,000. The obstruction is $2,500, and the marijuana is $1,500. Your total bond amount, sir, is $18,000. Do you understand that?
8,000? 18,000?
Yes, sir. So again, total bond, $18,000. Your next court date, if you don't bond out, will be September 4th, 8:30 a.m., and that's gonna be via Zoom, okay?
Yes, sir. And Sean, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You said something about a property, right? On the own property, I can bond out with the property?
Yes, sir. So if you don't want to use a bonding company or you don't want to use cash, you do have the right to use a bonding company if you or someone you know owns a piece of property that they have a deed to and they want to bring it down.
Okay, what about trailer trucks and that's it? Like I got trailer.
My understanding, it has to be an actual like home but you can try that if you want to call the sheriff's office and see.
All right.
All right, thank you.
I got a house in Green Church.
All right, are you Mr. Watts?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Watts, you're charged with 1 count of driving with suspended license. You are charged with 1 count of taillight violation. Your bond amount for the suspended license is $1,500, for the taillight $500, for a total of $2,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because these are misdemeanors, sir, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that hearing. Which would you like to do? Have that hearing or waive it?
Waive it, I suppose.
All right, so because you are waiving it, sir, the deputies will have a piece of paper there for you to sign. Now, based on the information that you provided to me, sir, here this morning, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, and that lawyer is going to be free of charge to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, that's all I have for you here this morning. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
So I paid the bondsman 2,000 I go. Is that it?
If you want to pay it in full, you would pay the sheriff's office plus any additional fees. If you want to use a bonding company, you would only be responsible for 10 to 15%, so which would roughly be about $500 total for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Leave right there.
And are you Mr. White?
Mr. Williams?
Okay.
Let's be waving.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Williams. Charles Williams?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Williams, you were charged with 1 count of improper lane change, 1 count of violation of a driving without a permit, 1 count of suspended license, and 1 count of DUI. Now, the information I have here, sir, just give me 1 second. I'm looking at something here. Yeah. So based on the information I have here this morning, sir, I am going to dismiss the count of DUI against you. And that's going to leave you with the remaining. I'm dismissing the DUI, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so that means that actually, I'm sorry, sir. No, I am dismissing the DUI here this morning. So that is going to mean that you have remaining charges against you. Now, let me say this, sir. Just because it's being dismissed here this morning doesn't mean that it can't come back against you. Do you understand? They can charge you later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the remaining counts against you are misdemeanors. So you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you have a right to waive that hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive it, sir?
Waive it.
All right, so I am going to show that you are waiving that hearing this morning. And so that means that here this morning, after we're done talking, the deputies will have some paperwork for you to sign, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, as to your bond on the remaining charges, you have a bond improper lane change of $500, limited permit $500, and the suspended license $1,500. Your total bond amount, sir, is $2,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Do you know what the bond amount on that usually is? Only-
It's gonna be
Man, I just-
2,500 on your own. If you use a bonding company, it's probably gonna be about $500 plus any fees to the bonding company.
Only reason I say this, I just have got started back out with my work in my company. And is there any kind of break I could receive on this, on the?
No, sir, that's as good as it's gonna get.
Okay, all right, I was just asking.
I understand. I appreciate you asking. I, want to be honest with you too.
And I appreciate you.
Yes,
So,
sir.
You said the bond amount would probably be how much?
Now, I guess my question to make sure we're on the same page. Are you talking about if you go on your own, if you pay it outright, or are you talking about if you use a bonding?
Bonding company.
Okay, so if you use a bonding company, as I mentioned earlier, it would be about 15% of the bond. And so you'd be looking at, sir, about roughly $500 that you would be responsible for.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions I can answer for you, sir?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir. And what's your name, sir?
White. Is that white?
All right, so Mr. White, you are charged here with, in your first case, counts of obstruction of an officer as a misdemeanor. Those are misdemeanors, sir. And so what that means is you have a right to a preliminary hearing here, or you can waive that right to your preliminary hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing? Okay, so as I said earlier, then what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead, Mr. White, I'm going to give you a court date for the preliminary hearing. And then if you don't make your bond, since I see you've got a couple outstanding cases here, so you'd have to make it on both. If you don't make your bond, then your next court date, Mr. White, is going to be, for this case, going to be September 3rd at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, for this case, it's 8:30 a.m. September 3rd, and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, on this case, based on what you provided to me, Mr. White, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. You will have a lawyer free of charge as well. Do you understand that?
Sir.
All right, so as to this first case that we just went over, the only other thing I need to tell you is your bond amount. Your bond amount for the first obstruction is $2,500. Your bond amount for the second charge is $2,500. Okay, and so your total bond for this case is $5,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. White, do you have any questions of me about your first case?
No, sir.
All right, so then I have signed off on that one. Now, Mr. White, on the second case, I had here that you were charged with 1 count of misdemeanor obstruction, 1 count of battery family violence, and then you were charged with 1 count of felony aggravated assault. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, in this case, this was a separate case. I don't know if you are aware, but it was alleged to have happened back on, I want to give you the date, June 17th. So that's why this one is separate, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, I am going to give you a, I'm going to give you a date, sir, because you were charged with felonies on that one. Your court date is going to be September 4th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. And so what I'm going to do for you, Mr. White, actually, is I'm going to set your court date for both of these for September. Actually, no, that's a misdemeanor. Yeah, I'm gonna tell them if they want to have you just come up for both. I'm gonna see if they'll do that, but I can't guarantee that. Okay. See if they'll do it on the same day, but I can't guarantee that they're gonna do that. Again, you've got the 1 count of aggravated assault family violence, the 1 count of battery family violence, the 1 count of obstruction, 2 misdemeanors and a felony. On the second case, your court date for that one will be September 4th. Your bond amount is going to be, for the obstruction, $2,500, for the battery, $3,500, and then for the aggravated assault, the felony on this, your second case, it's a no bond, sir. But this time I've reviewed the allegations here and I'm not going to be able to grant you bond on that one. Now, because you don't have a bond on this case, you're going to have a third court date. That third court date is going to be your bond hearing for this case. And that's going to be September 6th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. And then lastly, I didn't say nothing, Your Honor. And then lastly, sir, if at some point you do get a bond, you have special conditions, and those are to stay away from Ms. Navia Hall, whom you are alleged to have been involved in this altercation with, okay?
Yes, sir. So
Let me go back through it just to make it clear for you, and then if you got any questions, you can ask me. So you got two cases. The first case is misdemeanor, 2 counts of obstruction. You have a bond, a total of $5,000. Right now, your court date is going to be September 3rd on that one at 8:30 a.m. You have your second case. Your second case is an allegation from June that's alleging that you assaulted a Miss Navia Hall. On that case, as is the other case, I've given you a court-appointed attorney. The difference, however, is your court dates. You got 2 court dates. So instead of September 3rd, you've got a felony court date for your preliminary hearing of September 4th, and you have a bond hearing date of September 6th. Do you understand that? Does that make it a little clearer?
yes, sir. So I have I have 3 court dates.
As of right now, yep. I'm gonna see if they can get you up on that misdemeanor and just bring you in the same time, but I can't guarantee that they will do that. So right now you've got 3, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th. If they will bring you up the misdemeanor as the same day as the felony, then you'll do that on the same day and you'll just have 2, one on the 4th and one on the 6th.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Any other questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right, then that's all I have for you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, and I think deputies, that should be all of on Jots.
Yeah.
All right, are you Mr. Amos?
You coming up right now, Mr. Amos?
Okay. Are you Mr. Amos?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Amos, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Your bond amount is $1,500. You do have a special condition, sir, and that is to stay away from 6234 Spine Road, which is where this IHOP was. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, sir, because you were charged with misdemeanors, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive it?
First thing to do, what you think? The waive? I mean,
You want to waive it?
I just trying to figure out what it is that would be the best thing to do.
Well, I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you want me to set the date, that means if you don't bond out, your next court date will be September 3rd. And that's where they will look at the evidence and see if there's enough, or I can send it on directly to the prosecutor and it'll move a little faster.
Send it to the prosecutor and move a little faster.
All right, so I am going to show that you are asking me to waive your preliminary hearing this morning, sir. And since I'm waiving your hearing, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign here this morning. And once you sign that paper, sir, that's all we got for you. All right, that's it, sir. Thank you. All right, and are you Mr. Boswell?
Oh, wait, no. Gotta sign the paper.
Should be up next, Boswell. Are you Mr. Boswell?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Boswell, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of obstruction, and 1 count of battery. The obstruction, your bond amount is $2,500. The battery, your bond amount is $5,000. As to the aggravated assault, sir, your bond amount, I am not going to provide you bond amount and a bond. You are on a no bond based on what I have seen this morning. You do have bond restrictions should you be given a bond at a later time. That is to stay away from Miss Akanesia Hawkins and the address of 24371 Falcon Drive. Do you understand that, sir?
Excuse me, sir. Yes, sir. She's in my residence in my name. I don't know how she's still there.
And so what I would tell you, sir, is, you will have a lawyer at some point to assist you on this case. And then if you would please just advise them of that information, because what I have right now, I don't have that. So I don't know that for a fact. And so I just have to go with what I have. Do you understand that?
Okay, so can you please repeat all that to me?
Yeah.
fees and stuff?
So you're on a no bond with aggravated assault. You
So I
got
get no bond right now?
no bond on the ag assault. You got
So I
2,500.
can't get out. Even if I pay the other bonds, I can't get out.
No, sir. No, sir, you can't.
And
You got
why?
it. Mr. Boswell, let me finish and then you can answer. You asked me to repeat it. No bond on the ag assault, 2,500 on the obstruction, 5,000 on the battery. You're to stay away from Miss Hawkins. You're to stay away from 241-371 Falcon Drive. You got 2 court dates. Your preliminary hearing is going to be on the 4th of September. Your bond hearing date is going to be on the 6th. You asked me, how do you get that modified? Because that's your address. You'll speak to your attorney and your attorney will assist you with that.
And you said preliminary is when?
September 4th, and your bond hearing is the 6th. Are you working right now, or were you working?
No, sir. No, sir. At all.
All right, so I am going to give you a lawyer free of charge, so you will get a lawyer to assist you on your case too, okay?
A real lawyer or public offender?
Well, a real lawyer is a public defender, sir. I've gone up against several, and I will tell you, they are much better than a lot of these lawyers people pay for.
Yes, sir. So primary hearing is September 4th.
Yep, preliminary hearing is September 4th. Bond hearing is the 6th.
So I won't be able to at least get a bond until the 6th.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Good. Thank you, sir.
That bitch hit me. I don't give a bond. But she in my shit.
All right, watch what you say on the camera, sir. That this is recording.
I'm not saying I'm wrong. She hit me, she in my room. No.
This is, let him know this is being recorded. Are you Mr. Holly?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Holly, you're charged with 1 count of battery, family violence as a misdemeanor, 1 count of theft by taking. Those are both misdemeanors, sir. And so your total bond amount is $5,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Uh-huh.
Now, because these are misdemeanors, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that hearing. Which would you like to do? Have it or waive it?
I'll waive the hearing. What will be my court date if I waive the hearing?
If you waive that hearing, sir, then your next court date is going to be determined by the prosecutor. So it'll be sent directly to them and they will accuse you, or you can bond out. If you don't waive it, your next court date will be September 3rd.
Okay, I want to waive it.
You said you do want to waive it?
Yes.
All right, so I'm showing here that you are waiving your hearing this morning. And so because you are waiving your hearing, once we are done, the deputies will have a piece of paper that they will need for you to sign.
Okay, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, the other thing I was going to tell you is, based on the information you provided to me, sir, I can't appoint you a lawyer this morning, so you would have to, you will have to retain your own if you decide you need one.
Yes, sir.
Ask me.
So I can get out of jail today, right?
No, sir. No, sir. You still got a bond. You got to make that bond.
I'm saying if I pay the bond, I can.
Oh, yes, sir. If you pay that bond, then you'll get out in the next 24 hours.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank
What's
you.
your last name?
Holly.
Leave the pen, leave the pen.
Yep. And that should be Holly, and he waived. What's your last name, sir?
Keys,
I'm sorry?
Keys, K-Y-S.
Okay. Keys. All right. I've got you right here, Mr. Keys. Mr. Keys, you are charged with 1 count of possession of a handgun by a person under the age of 18. Your bond amount is $5,000, sir. This is a misdemeanor. And so because this is a misdemeanor, you do have a right to the preliminary hearing that I spoke of, or you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive it?
Wait. Oh, what you say my bond is again?
5,000.
5,000. All right, what about the tent, the little 15%?
All right, if you wanted to do a bonding company, you'd have to come up with about $750. Okay? Now, because you are waiving your hearing, sir, the deputy is going to have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that paper, that's all we've got for you this morning.
I said wait.
I don't,
Wait.
Are you saying waived or not to waive?
Wait.
I don't, what is wait? What does wait mean?
I don't want to wait.
Okay. Okay, so you want me to set the court date for you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's be clear, because I want to make sure I'm understanding. So you have 2 options. So option 1 is I'll set that court date for you. Option 2 is I'll waive it, meaning you want me to send it to the prosecutor and it moves quicker. So your bond is $5,000. You're on a misdemeanor. You will have to hire your own lawyer. My question to you about the preliminary hearing, that's where you're there, the lawyer's there, the judge is there. It is not your trial, it's just where they determine if there's enough evidence. I can set that hearing date will be September 3rd for you, or I can waive it and send it up faster to the prosecutor for their review. Now, which would you like me to do? Would you like me to set the date or to waive it?
You set a date.
Okay. All right, so your date's gonna be September 3rd. It's gonna be at 8:30 a.m., sir, and it's gonna be via Zoom, okay? And that will only be if you don't get out on bond. Do you understand?
Okay.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you? And your last name, sir? Spencer? Okay. All right, Mr. Spencer, you were charged with 3 counts of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of marijuana over an ounce, and no insurance. Each of the drugs carries a bond amount of $5,000, the marijuana $1,000, and the no insurance $1,000. And so your total bond amount is $17,000. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes,
Sir?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, reviewing the information that you provided here this morning, sir. Well, let me ask you, are you working right now?
Yes, sir.
Where are you working?
Perfect landscaping.
About how much are you making per month?
I got a lawyer though.
About how much are you making per month was my question.
Maybe sometimes the 15, $200,000, $2,000 a month.
Okay. Have you paid for that lawyer already?
Yes.
You know that for a fact?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we do this? I mean, did you actually pay that lawyer or did someone else do it?
My lawyer, he's on retainer.
Okay, so if I put on here that you already got a lawyer, no one will come see you until your lawyer comes. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Okay. All right, sir. So based on the information that you just provided, I'm gonna put here that you do not qualify for a lawyer. So that means no one will come see you on it and that you'll have to contact your lawyer. Because you are charged with felonies here, sir, that does mean that you will get a preliminary hearing date. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be September 4th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's September 4th. Again, that's 8:30 a.m. and that's via Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Okay, and one more question. So the total bond is 17, right?
Yes, sir. I believe that's correct.
Okay, what is it? 15% of that if I go through a bonding company?
That's going to be about $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all choose them. All
right, so I've got Conway, Robinson, the 2 fugitives from justice, and Mr. Conway. I think that's right. And then we've got
Miss McClendon.
Okay, she back. Great. We could have her. Yep, I'll go ahead and do her first.
Yes, we take it back. Oh, yes, you can take it back. Come on, Mr.
All right. Sorry about that mistake earlier, Miss McClendon. I've got your paperwork here. So Miss McClendon, you were charged here with 1 count of possession of a controlled substance as a felony and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Do you understand that, ma'am? Miss McClendon, can you hear me?
Yes, I heard you.
Okay, it kind of, I think it was slow. Our internet slowed down for a second. And so as to the, because this is a felony, I need to advise you, ma'am, that you will have a new court date if you don't make your bond for your preliminary hearing. That new court date, ma'am, is going to be on September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again,
It had froze when you was talking.
I was telling you your new court date. So if you don't make your bond, because you are charged with a felony, your new court date is going to be September 4th at 8:30 a.m. and it's going to be via Zoom. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you working right now, ma'am?
Yes.
How much are you making per month?
$1,500.
Okay. So based on that, ma'am, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. You will get a lawyer free of charge on your case, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. The last thing I just need to tell you, ma'am, is your bond amount for these 2 charges. So for the felony possession of a controlled substance, ma'am, your bond amount is $3,500. Okay. And for the second charge, the possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce, Your bond amount is $1,500. And so your total bond amount is $5,000. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. That's all I have for you, unless you have any other questions for me, ma'am.
That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We can do the fugitives first if you want to do that, so that Mr. Conway's last.
Okay. Two fugitives step up.
All right, gentlemen, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
It should be Mr. McDaniel. Mr. McDaniel, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's you to the my left, your right, and then Mr. Robinson, is that you on the right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so gentlemen, I think I was going through Mr. McDaniel a little earlier, and then I stopped once I realized. But here's kind of what's going on with you two gentlemen. So each of you has an out-of-state warrant, which means so you were in Clayton County, you were picked up on something not related to a Clayton County offense. Now, you got a couple options that I'm going to go through with you, each of you. What happens is, for each of you, you each have up to 60 days to give law enforcement from the state where the warrant is from, to come get you and to process you out and to get you back to where you are. Excuse me, not 60 days, but 30 days. If in that 30 days they don't come and get you, then what happens is then you go to the 60. Okay, so you start off at 30. They got to come get you. If they don't come get you, then it goes to 60 days. They get an extra 30. All right, to come get you. If you say, Judge, I'm not going to comment on whether or not I'm at fault or did I do something wrong, but I want to go back to that state where I'm from, where this warrant's from, and I want to deal with it there, right? Then they get 30 days to try to come get you. If they don't get you in that 30, they get another 30. If in that 60 days they don't get you at all, they don't come get you, we let you go. Clayton County will release you, okay? Does everybody understand the first part?
Yes.
Okay, now, that's option one. Option two, you say, well, Judge, I'm not necessarily wanting to go back right now. I don't believe that the police in the state where I came from did the paperwork correctly. If you believe that they did not do the paperwork correctly, then you got to sit here for 90 days to allow them being the police, to set a hearing date where they will attempt to prove that they did everything correctly. Okay? So again, option one, you say, Judge, I want to go back. I want to deal with this warrant in that state. They'll come get you. If they don't come get you, we release you. If you say, Judge, I don't want to go back, I'd rather, make sure that they did everything correct. The law gives them up to 90 days to make sure that they have done everything correct and to set a hearing date if they so choose. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Robinson, since you're on my right, your left. My question to you, sir, is how you would like to proceed, Mr. Robinson. Would you like me to go ahead, give them the 90 days for the hearing? Or would you like to say, Judge, I'd like to go back, deal with this there? And so if that's the case, then as I said, they'll be contacted. And then at that point, they've got the time they've got to come get you. If they don't come get you, sir, then we release you.
Okay, you said the option is to do what?
Option one, they got to come get you. If they don't get you, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question with that option.
Mm-hmm.
I was given and shown let known what my bond is in the other state right now, and I was told that I could get someone in that state to get that bond taken care of down there, and then from there they would have to show that it was paid there, and then it would have to channel back up into y'all, and I could be released from here. Is that an actual thing?
That's a possibility, sir. It just really depends on the communication between the jail there and the jail here. So, I mean, the best thing I can tell you is if that's the plan, you might want to invest in an attorney there to try to assist you to make sure that that's happening on that end.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. So then, again, my question to you is, at this point, what would you like to do? Would you like me to go ahead and set that date for them to come pick you up or for the hearing?
What would the hearing be for?
You said when?
What would the hearing be for?
Remember, the hearing is about the procedure. Did they?
They did they stuff properly? Nah, you can set a date for them to come get me.
So for them to come get you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna show here that what you were doing is your call. I didn't want to use a lot of the legal terms, but you're waiving your right to that hearing. And so the deputies, Mr. Robinson, will have a document for you to sign, okay?
And I'm waiving the right to say that I feel that they didn't do the paperwork and stuff.
Right, exactly. You're waiving that right that they didn't do something correct, and instead you want them to, it's called extradite. You wanting them to come pick you up as soon as possible so you can deal with it up there. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now, go ahead, Mr. Robinson, you had another question?
No, sir.
Okay, so now, Mr. McDaniel, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. So again, as I expressed to this gentleman, you know, you have this outstanding warrant. Yours, sir, is out of Texas. So again, you got that option. Option one would be for them to come pick you up. Option two is to deal with it locally there and say, hey, I don't think you did everything right. If you say you want to do that, of course, that is your right. But you have 90 days up till to give them to try to get everything in order to contest it. Would you like to waive your right to that hearing, or would you, and then you go back immediately, or would you like me to put down that you want that hearing date?
No, I want to waive my right and go back.
Okay. Right. So then the same thing will happen, sir, is that they will go ahead. The deputies will have a document for you to sign. Each of you will sign it about 6 times. And once you sign it, that's all we got. And then the sheriff's office is going to contact them on your behalf. Love to you both, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
And that should leave Mr. Conway.
Yes, I'm on the. Hold on one second, let me get rid of this. Hold on one second, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Where's this defendant? Sign on 6. You can go that way.
Your Honor, they never sent us Mr. McDaniel,
No.
Mr. Robinson paperwork for the fugitive sheet. So we're trying to get it right now.
Okay, yeah, because I got it. The only reason I had it, he was on JOT, so I don't know if that's the reason. If for whatever let's see, because I think I can download it.
Say he was on JOTS? Was he on?
Yeah, so that might be why.
That might be the reason then, okay.
Yeah, I can see, I think I can download this and try to, yeah, I've got a copy here.
Never mind, he's on JOTS, so he's gonna sign
Okay,
it.
he can sign it that way. Okay, okay, good deal. All right, so then once you're ready, then it should just be Mr. Conway.
Yes, sir.
It's not giving them up.
You can't sign on jobs. Robinson signed on jobs, he was on jobs. They say you want.
It's not giving us the option to sign, Your Honor, for him.
Okay, so then do you want me to, I can try to download it here. Do you all, or let me ask you, do you all have blank waivers for them for extradition or no?
I've never seen.
No, sir, we never seen a blank. Gotta have a name.
Yeah, I've seen it once like years ago. So what I'll do is I've got a copy of it. Let's see if I can, I'm gonna see if I can download the ones they put on JOTS for me. Yeah, I think I can here. And then Deputy Jackson, what I'll do is I will send it to your email.
Yes, sir.
And then that way it should,
Let's
see.
Just take him to lower release then.
Okay.
We'll go print it. I have to sign. Armstrong, can you take him to lower release real quick? Well, yeah, so we're gonna have him to sign it over there. Burgess gonna pick it up.
Okay, so I'm responding, Deputy Jackson, to your email about missing those, and I'm attaching, I just downloaded what you put up on JOTS for me.
Okay.
This is for Defendant Robinson, and I just sent that over, so you should get it, let's say in the next 30 seconds.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
it just sent it to you. Okay. All right, so then I believe that leaves Mr. Conway.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and are you Mr. Conway?
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Conway, get your paperwork.
You said
here.
you lied about it.
I'm sorry?
Don't say anything like that.
If you're talking about your case here, Mr. Conway, we don't want to do that. Not on this, this is being recorded, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Conway, you were charged here with 1 count of aggravated child molestation, 1 count of enticing a child for indecent purposes. Those are both felonies, sir. That's important because I need you to understand that because you were charged with a felony, your next court date is going to be September 4th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom, okay? Do you understand that, Mr. Conway?
Yes, sir.
Now, it says you're working, you're making about, is this $3,500 or $5,000 a month?
35.
Okay, so you're making about 3,500 a month. So because of that, sir, I am not going to be able to appoint you a court.
I'm sorry, I calculated that wrong. I doubled it up. It's like half of that.
Well, I got to go with what you got on the paper right now. If that changes, sir, then just let me know or let a judge know and they can reconsider. But right now, sir, you don't qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, so you're not going to get one as of today. Now,
How do I redo that? Because
so when your next court date comes up, let them know.
okay.
Okay. But you're going to have two court dates. Your first is going to be your preliminary hearing. That's going to be on September 4th at 8:30 a.m. You're going to have a second court date, sir. Your second court date is going to be your bond hearing date. And the reason you're going to have a bond hearing date, sir, is because based on the allegations here that are against you here today, I am going to deny your bond on both of these charges. And so that means at this point, you do not have a bond moving forward. Do you understand?
Okay.
Again, your new court dates are going to be September 4th for the preliminary hearing, September 6th for the bond hearing, and you're on a no bond. And based on the information you provided, I am not going to be able to present or give you a lawyer this morning. But I did advise you again that there is a possibility of you having that reviewed at a later time. Do you understand that?
Okay.
All right, sir. That's all I have for you, sir. Then good luck to you. All right, and that should be everyone.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.